Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Jaron Boots Ennis continues that knockout streak, man. Jaron's Boots Ennis is the truth. Something special about that man's hands, I'm telling you. When you hit people like that and they fall out, yeah, you got to be careful with Jaron Ennis. That man has serious, heavy hands. He got in there and made Clayton look like a novice. We talked about the high guard versus the Philly shell. Ennis didn't even have to go into the Philly shell. Clayton came in there with the plan to, I guess, go defensive first and then try to turn it on later in the fight, which was absolutely stupid because he went defensive and kept those hands up, that high guard. And, Ennis obviously has done a lot of fighting, and he knew just what to do. He shot that looping right hand, went behind the guard, and clipped him on the top side of his head on the top and threw his equilibrium off. And Clayton just couldn't get up. Couldn't move, was falling all over the place. When he did manage to muster enough strength to get to his feet, he was still falling. So the referee did the right thing stopping that fight. There were some people talking about it, saying how the fight looked staged, it looked fixed. That fight wasn't fixed at all, But Clayton, to me, he did look super happy to lose. I never see nobody smile and you see all 32 of their teeth. You know what I'm saying? I never see anyone smile when you see all 32 of their teeth. And that man has, he definitely has all his teeth because it was showing. All 32 of your teeth showing, and you just got knocked out. Now that just doesn't sit right with me. But at the same time, it is what it is. But Jaron Ennis, going forward, he's the mandatory now for Earl Spence. You got Stanley Eunice. Now you have Jaron Ennis. So, Earl Spence has 3 belts. Him and Crawford can't figure it out. He's going to have to fight him or Stanley Eunice. So the Terrence Crawford fight, people are getting further and further away from us. The Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence fight. But I will go on the record and say this. Boots Ennis will not beat Earl Spence. Earl Spence's work rate is just crazy. Boots Ennis has to be able to think. He has to be able to counter you. He has to be able to, get off first. And with a guy like Earl Spence, I just don't think Boots is going to be given those opportunities because Spence is coming in and he's throwing. And he's letting shots go up and down. And I just think Boots Ennis is going to struggle. He's going to try to get his shots off, get his counters off, and Spence is just going to be on him. I think Boots Ennis loses that fight. But I tell you something else. I'm always talking about him. Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman and Boots Ennis would be a really good fight to make because Keith Thurman is going to punch. He's not going to sit there and try to go super defensive. He's going to let his shots go. And if he gets hit and Boots comes to close the gap, Thurman's going to fire back. Like, Thurman doesn't have a problem fighting. But I'm not saying Thurman wins that fight. I'm just saying if for some reason, Boots can't get Spence, I don't know what he's going to do. Just sit there and wait? He's going to have to fight somebody. Hell, why not fight Thurman? They need to figure something out, but Jaron Ennis is just, something about his hands. But I'm going to tell you, I saw some things in that fight today that tells me, I already talked about, his the deficiencies he has. There aren't many, but there's some. But watching him tonight, I said, let me see what he's going to do. We've never seen him in there with a fighter that's pressing him. Effectively and intelligently. Lipinets tried to come at him, but Lipinets was a small guy. But he gets in there with a Earl Spence that's putting that pressure on him and not allowing him to think a whole lot. I'd like to see how he responds. And I personally, we haven't seen him in those kind of fights yet. He's normally in there just kind of having fun. Has a lot to do with what he brings to the table. But I think when we see him in there with someone who's going to press him, only then will we find out just how special he is. Right now, he's like, Adrian Broner and people right now. But when he gets in there with a real deal fighter, like an Earl Spence or even a Stanley Eunice, I say more Stanley Eunice right now, or even a Keith Thurman, then we'll see what he's made of. Excuse me. Then we'll see what he's really made of, because right now, I'm not. He can fight. He looks to be the next best thing at welterweight. But Adrian Broner looked to be the next best thing for boxing. And when he got in there with a real deal fighter, it didn't work out that well. That happens with a lot of fighters step up. Things don't work out that well. They really get exposed. Doesn't mean they're not great. They're just not elite. So far, Ennis looks like he has all the qualities you want to see in an elite fighter. He just hasn't had the right style matchup yet. But he's about to get put in there with another, someone else who looks like a special fighter. It's just, he's at that point now. There's no more lateral movements. It's time for him to move up the ladder. No more reversing, nothing lateral. And that's when we're going to find out. And I wouldn't be surprised if Stanley Ennis or Keith Thurman or, a Virgil Ortiz or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if Boots got thrown there with another kind of step-up fight. But he's right there now. And don't talk about, he's the mandatory. Yeah, well, so is Stanley Ennis. But y'all don't talk about him because he's from Lithuania. You don't know who he is. Some of y'all. But Stanley Ennis is a problem. He's a damn good fighter. And that would be a very good fight. Now, if Ernest clips a guy like Stanley Ennis, then you got to say, okay, something here. Because Stanley Ennis is going to put pressure on him. He's going to come forward and fight. But vice versa, Stanley Ennis clips Boots, then Stanley Ennis he's out of here. He's in a whole other galaxy now. Because that would be a huge feather in his cap. But we just don't know. But as far as Ennis he had his way with Clayton, man. Clayton looked too apprehensive. I guess Clayton will go home feeling good about himself because he felt like, hey, nobody else was going to do it and fight him, so I stepped up and fought him. So I should be lauded for my bravery. Yeah, okay, it's commendable, but you should let your hands go. At least give yourself a chance to win the fight. And he just didn't give himself an opportunity. And Ennis did what he was supposed to do with a guy like Clayton. But don't get me wrong, excuse me. Clayton's no slouch, but he just showed that he should stay up there in Canada, fight on those circuits up there, make a whole lot of money, and just stay away from these killers out here. Because, he had the wrong game plan, and I fault his corner for that. But Jaron Ennis is a big boy. His next step is going to be something huge, man, but I just have a feeling these guys they don't need to get set in a holding pattern waiting for Crawford or waiting for Spence. They just need to go out there and keep pushing, keep staying busy, keep winning the way he's winning. Something's going to shake out for him, but don't wait around for those 6, 8 months, a year trying to get no damn Spence fight because it's not going to happen, man. Especially a Spence and Crawford fight. I don't think they're going to fight. I already said that. I'll say it again. That fight is getting further and further away from us, people. But if for some reason they fight, you're looking at, rematch and maybe a three fights between those two. That could go on for a year and a half. So the reality is Ennis isn't going to be fighting either one of them anytime soon. He's going to have to figure out what his next opponent's going to be, and it's going to have to be a step up. Perfect opponent is Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman is just in a bad position now because he's trying to avoid these guys like Jaron Ennis. But now Keith is running out of options. He going to have to fight somebody. And he can't cherry pick no more. He's going to have to fight somebody. And somebody's going to use him as a stepping stone to bigger and better things, my opinion. But Jaron Ennis, excellent fighter, man. Got Clayton down there in round 2. And Clayton his body didn't respond the way he probably wanted to and how the referee wanted. And they had to stop the fight. So it is what it is. Looking forward to see what the next move is with Jaron Boots Ennis. Put a boot to Clayton. Got him out of there, man. That's what you want to see in a future champion. But that being said, leave your comments below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Boots Ennis is up next. I personally think he's going to be another lateral move. But, a step up in competition, but still a lateral move. He's not going to get to the Holy Land yet and be able to fight Spence and Crawford. But I think the next best thing for him, we don't know what's going on with Virgil Ortiz, but I'm telling you, I think Keith Thurman going to slip in somewhere. I mean, there's no more Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia not fighting him. There's no more Sean Porter. no more Amir Khan. Amir Khan will fight anyone. He's retired now. I mean, shit, you can't get to Spence and Crawford. There's Thurman. You want to fight Stan Eunice, that's a lateral move, but it's not really a step up. It is a step up, but it's not really the step up that he wants, but for a really big name. And the only name out there that's maybe a viable option is Keith Thurman, man. And I hope they make that fight, because if he can knock out Keith Thurman, they can't deny him. Like, he's breathing down their necks already. But if he could come and knock out Keith Thurman, he'll be in their back pockets, just climbing up their backs up to the neck and be in their ear. Like, they need to get that man a shot. But Boots Ennis is the next up, and I think he's gonna do extremely well. Just not sure he beats Spence. Crawford, I don't know. But Spence, with that work rate, I would side with Spence in that fight. But leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Y'all keep safe. I appreciate the support. Like and subscribe. Shout out to all the veterans. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'm in the breeze.